So Ed, we call this podcast AgentBuild Expert Exchange, and the reason I call it Expert Exchange is because I want to bring in experts like you in in this podcast to really talk about what's happening on the ground in the field of AI, right? Whether you're advising startups, or working with enterprises, customers, or even building a startup of your own, I want experts to come and tell my community and the wider community on LinkedIn and YouTube uh, that there is so much of signal, but there is a more hype and noise over that signal. So how do you actually cut through that noise and figure out what's real and what's actually happening? So that's the whole motive of doing this stuff. And you on LinkedIn are very active, and you really post really good posts, especially memes, and we'll talk more about that later in the podcast. Um, but all of those things have some message, underlying message that actually helps people understand what's really happening. So I think you are perfect, and I was looking forward to have you on this podcast as well. So thank you very much for joining.
It's a pleasure, man. Real pleasure.
Let's start with talking a bit about you. How did you end up in this world of AI? Where did you start, and what was your evolution into the current role that you are in?
Yeah, so I have a technical background, right? I'm a computer scientist. I worked as a developer so many years ago. The truth that I don't have any problem to say is like I never was a good developer. I mean, like I never was so good at coding. I tried to do my best. I remember, like spending entire nights coding in Java, C++, and I was struggling. But that time it was like much more complicated than it is today, right? By coding didn't exist. But I've been, like working on the tech space for so many years, and around 10 years ago, with everyone was trying to talk about big data and so on, but even the reality is like even it was so complicated for people to really understand what do we mean by big data, how it was able to be used and so on. And I had a chance to do a postgraduate on data science, right? How to be a data scientist. And I found it like, hey, I need to give, a change to my career. I was working on business development, sales. I had technical background, but still, I was not there, and I decided to take that train. And I did this postgraduate on data science. I worked for a very short period of time as data scientist, doing the typical stuff, some training models, feature engineering for very simple stuff like hey, how to detect churn, how to do customer segmentation. And then I moved into a new role to lead a data monetization team in my previous company. Then I was responsible for building me and my entire team the MLOps platform at Vodafone Group. And then I had the chance to join AWS, and I've been having like a couple of different roles. First as business developer for MLOps, right now as a go-to-market lead for GenAI, and that's my story. I mean, like most of my experience has been like by working with customers, startups, different folks, and trying to learn as much as possible of AI. So yeah, that's me. A long story short.
That's great. That's a really good story. You see, I talk to a lot of people who are trying to adopt AI in their daily lives or even learn about AI because now AI is the new cool thing, obviously, right? Everyone is talking about it. But I think a lot of technical professionals are trying to think, okay, I am a software developer today. Uh, how can I adopt AI in my day-to-day job? Yes, there is the coding agents that are coming up and that might help, but they're also skeptical about whether they're going to replace their jobs and et cetera, right? Um, what would be your advice to technical professionals in anyone today looking to switch their career into AI? What kind of direction can they take?
Yeah, so how I see the future for developers. I think everyone is going to be like AI full stack developer in the future. I mean, like we are breaking those barriers about hey, you don't need to be just like an AI engineer. You just don't need to be like like a front end developer, whatever. Because thanks to AI, at least if you know the basics, if you really understand the foundations, you can do pretty much everything you want, right? And I mean, like the other day, I was reading stuff about like Lovable, who was able to join, well, to reach 100 million AAR in just 8 months. But what it was even more impressive is like many folks building stuff with Lovable with zero experience or not so much experience about like AI or like a software development and so on. So for any technical role, my recommendation is like, hey, don't be stuck only to do like something very specific, but thanks to AI you can do many other things, right? So it's something that you just need to embrace. I mean, like I think it's trying to don't see the reality. If you think like like hey, AI is not going to affect how you work or how you like do stuff. AI is going to cover many of the things that we are doing today. I'm not saying that it's going to replace, of course, in some roles it will replace, but I think developers or technical folks, because they have this background, they can do many other things thanks to AI, and they just need to see the opportunity. Otherwise, they are going to like do something that is not adding any value. So I think it's the reality. And when people ask me about, hey, AI is going to change a lot, like how we work today, if there is some specific role that has changed overnight thanks to AI or due to AI, it's developing. I mean, like the way that people was writing code 2 years ago, it's a different story to how people is writing code today. So you just need to check that this is a new reality.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is this obviously technical personas in organizations, but I think the larger chunk is are the non-technical people, right? People working in sales, in business teams. Uh, they also realize that they have to work with AI and somehow adopt or learn to use AI. What has your advice been to these non-technical professionals? How can someone who is working in a non-technical role start to learn about AI? What would be the first
Yeah.
2 or 3 steps for them?
So everyone has to learn AI. That's the reality. I mean, like you cannot live a part of AI in today's world unless you are, I don't know, making something like super manual. But at the end of the day, like everyone has to adopt AI. My recommendation is like to really understand what that it means AI. I mean, like to understand the foundations because at the end of the day, I agree they are just tools, or we can say like AI is just a tool, but it's a tool with a lot of power. And because it has a lot of power, you really need to understand, like this technology behind the scenes. How can it help you, but also how can it like make like a big pitfalls and so on. So you really need to understand like what it's behind this technology, how to apply it for your like a daily use. Like, hey, I don't know, I'm a consultant, how can I use AI to be a better consultant? Or I'm running my own business, I don't know, I have a coffee shop, how can I use AI to increase, for example, the experience for my customers coming to my shop, right? So you need to understand what that means AI, technology behind the scenes, how can increase or how can add value to your daily job, and just use it, right? I mean, like when people ask me like, hey, how do you have or what do you have to do to ride a bike, to learn to ride a bike? Are you watching videos on YouTube to ride a bike, or you are just riding a bike, right? So with AI, I think it's pretty much the same. You just need to use it, and the more you use it, the more you understand the benefits, but also the challenges, the risk, and so on. So I think it's about just trying to use it, and something that I've seen so far is like people, the more they use it, the more they realize that this is going to be super powerful, and they use it more and more and more. So I mean, it is something that sooner or later they will have to face this new reality.
People come to me and ask, hey, where can I start? Whether they're technical or non-technical. I think one of the piece of advice that I give them is just start doing something. Like just start writing prompts on ChatGPT or Claude or wherever, you don't have to buy a subscription today. You can use it for free.
Yeah.
And use Perplexity. I love using Perplexity, by the way. It gives so much access to knowledge and things like that. So just by starting to use your mind kind of opens up to other directions, that okay, I have done this level, now let's go to level 2 and try another thing, right? So yeah, I totally take the bike riding analogy. You make really good posts, you make really good memes. I wanted to explore your mind on how do you come up with these really good memes.
Yeah, it's something that, to be honest, I also discover this kind of, like a secret talent that I had and I was not aware of it. What I can tell you is like, like I always love memes. I remember, like looking into WhatsApp, talking to my friends, saying, like funny stuff about, like everything, right? It was not, of course, about AI, but I realized about something. Like I always try. I mean, like at the end of the day, like either if it's AI or any other stuff. I mean, like people really want to have fun, right? And sometimes we need to make things easier to understand. Like easier to digest. And I think in that space, memes are so good because you can share like like a super powerful content in a different manner so people really enjoy it, but at the same time they can have like like a good learning as well. And when I was saying stuff, like just to my mind, this came, it comes this kind of different memes like, hey, what if I do this post about this with this image, talking about like this stupid stuff, whatever. And I realized it was kind of funny. So I mean, like it's coming to my mind all the time. I think it's my mind that it's processing how to run something funny about something new. So I mean, like I used to get up very early in the mornings. I go for a run like 5 a.m. in the morning. And the same time that I'm running, I'm thinking about all the new stuff. And it was like, hey, it would be fun a joke or a meme about this or that. And I started to, visualize on my mind, like all different alternatives. And of course, I have a lot of applications on my iPhone. So what I'm trying to do is like, at the time that I'm getting these new ideas, I just put it there like, hey, this, and that, and then I just try to tweak it a little bit. But it just, like coming to my mind. I think this is like, like a virtuous cycle. The more I create memes, the more that it comes to my mind, like different ideas and different approaches. So it's something that I discovered, like again, super recently, but it's working pretty well. And again, I think, like people at the end of the day, I mean, like right now the internet it's full of like content. I think it's too much sometimes, and it's very complicated to digest so many content, and most of the time people, even when you search some stuff, people don't have the time to go through the entire post to read it carefully and so on. And that's why I think memes are super powerful, because with just very simple image and just like maybe a couple of lines of text, you can really like share a big amount of knowledge, right? And I think that's why it's super powerful. And I hope AI doesn't steal my job, and it doesn't make memes better than I do right now.
Why is creating a brand in this age important, and why is LinkedIn the right platform to do it?
Yeah, so reality is like I didn't have a plan about like creating my own brand. That's the reality, and that's super real. I mean, like I just started because I was having fun, and when I realized it was like growing and growing. But at the end of the day, the biggest lesson that I've learned here is like opportunities. It's like your skills multiply by your visibility. If you are like a super talented folk, but you don't have visibility, the result is zero. It's null. I mean, like you won't have any opportunity, right? So I think this is what LinkedIn is working pretty well, right? It's giving you a lot of visibility across. I mean, like if you are a founder, you will have visibility across, like potential customers, venture capitals, angel investors. The same for like anyone, right? So I think that's my biggest lesson, that LinkedIn, if you really know how to use it, it's going to boost the number of opportunities that you may have in this space. And that's why I really like it. But also because you also have a lot of fun, right? I mean, like for me, it's just like a hobby. I mean, like that's the reality right now. LinkedIn, it's a hobby. I do it in my spare time because I don't have real time to be dedicated, like full time into it. But still, I really have a lot of fun and I learn a lot. And the most important, and this is something that I'm saying it all the time because I think it's important to know, right? LinkedIn is a social platform. It's a social media platform. It's about connecting people. It's not about connecting machines, right? And I can say, thanks to LinkedIn, I've been in touch with so many people around the world, like real good friends. I have like very good friends around the world. And this is something that we need to keep it like it is right now. I really hate when I see, like people just using, like bots to generate content or to answer comments or that's a fake. I mean, like, I want to be in touch with people. I don't want to be in touch with, I mean, like, AI, it's good if it's providing value, but if it's providing just, like a seed, it's not adding any value. It's just, like disturbing ourselves. So that's why I think LinkedIn is super powerful. And there is no any other social media that it has something similar, at least right now.
Absolutely. I think, I think that I totally relate to the connecting with people piece. I have connected to so many people just in few months of doing LinkedIn seriously. And it's amazing how you build your own network on LinkedIn, but also, personally, with people who are, who share the same interests as you. Okay, now to the fun part. For this podcast, I picked out five memes for that you have created and shared on LinkedIn. I want to explore your thinking behind it. Obviously, these are memes, but they have got deep message,
Yeah.
right? So we want to get into that message underneath and talk about that. All right, Ed, the first one that I have for you. Now, I am not going to talk about my thinking about it. I want you to talk about,
Okay.
and then I have a couple of follow-up questions on them.
Like this one came for the final game of chess between those guys, right? And when you saw these faces, this is what it came to my mind. Like right now or today, every single company wants to be AI first, right? Like, hey, we want to announce that we are a data-driven company. We are AI first. But that's just, like slogans, right? And I mean, like, this is not adding anything. And for me, being AI first, it starts by the people, right? It starts by like really changing the culture of the organization and really hire the people who is going to build that culture, to build that like a AI thing on top of the company, right? So it's so funny because IT teams, AI teams, data teams, they usually like laugh a lot when they see like their leaders saying like, "Hey, we are going to be an AI first company," and they say like, "Hey, we don't have any tool to do AI at the moment." That's why like this phase of frustration because to be AI first is not just about saying it; it's about doing it, right? And I see many companies saying it, we are AI, but they are not doing it. So that's just a fake. It's a slogan. That's why I saw this picture, and I think that the image it's super good. Yeah.
I love the expressions on the image as well. It's really cool. So I love your point around, let's just not do talking and start doing stuff. And I think a lot of these conversations start and end in meeting rooms, right? What do you think could be a simple habits or rules leaders can adopt to move these conversations beyond the meeting rooms and push AI projects within the organization?
So this needs to start by like it's a top-down approach, right? I mean, like the CEO, all the C-level of the companies really need to understand that this is going to be something that is going to change how we operate and needs to start from the top to the bottom, right? And they need to sponsor any kind of like a new AI strategy and to make sure that the team is going to build it. But again, once you have this clear idea, you need to work on how to do it, right? How to put it on practice. That's why you need to think about, okay, do I have the right team to do it? If not, I need to train my people or I need to hire new people. Do we have the right culture? And that's also very important. I always say like, like a culture eats a strategy for breakfast. So I see so many people like building a 5 years strategy plan. But still, when you ask the people, it's like, hey, nah, nothing is going to change. We will do the things like in the old manner, right? So you need to start changing that culture. And of course, you need to invest on technology as well, right? You need to identify how this is going to change your business processes, your different, customer experience, and you need to start, adopting AI. So that's why I'm saying, like, yeah, if you need to be AI first, make sure this comes from the top to the bottom. You invest on the people, and also, you enable them, you hire them, you change the culture, and then you start, building stuff.
Nice. One of the things when I talk to C-suite is obviously it's not only with AI projects, but any projects, they look into the return of investment, right? And with AI, the thing is you're never sure what sort of return you will get on a project that you start. So what do you think are the simple ways for leaders to basically find out if their early AI projects are going to generate money or lose money?
I know sometimes it's complicated, right? I mean, like, it's complicated in the way, like, most of the times they are running this project at very small scale, but also in parallel to the old way of doing things, right? So they cannot compare apples to apples. It's not like, hey, they used to cost me, I don't know, $10,000, and right now it's still costing me $10,000, right? But you need to do the estimations. I mean, like, if you even run it at a small scale, you can say, like, okay, how many points did we improve the customer experience? Can we translate this into, more revenue? Or if I have reduced the resolution time for, customer claims, can we translate this into customer churn? So you need to translate. I mean, yeah, like, at the end of the day, if you're in the business side, you need, or you should be able to translate these the KPIs into, real business value. So is this only calculation you have to do? Like, hey, check the performance of those models, translate into these KPIs, and then into business value. And that's the way. I mean, like, you cannot just, build, I don't know, an agent to say, like, hey, we have an agent to handle all the customer claims, if we are not just able to monitor how this impacting into, my KPIs or my business goals. So pride is something, when you are defining the use cases, this comes at the beginning, right? If you have to prioritize the use cases, you need to understand, like, hey, this is going to create more impact into my goals. That's why I will start with this use case instead of the other. And not do it the other way around. Like, they try to select the use cases that sounds more sexy to the customer, and just at the end trying to, measure the impact on the business. That's why it should start always from the very beginning.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, taking these steps early is the key. I think setting up a culture of experimentation where you can track your experiments and find a way of tracking costs of experiments and lowering them is a very good way of doing it. Okay, next meme.
I'm a big fan of this Netflix series. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And, like,
Did you
I
watch that?
think that was that was also good because, like, it's comparing, I think it's last year, this year, the different phases. But this is what is happening with vibe coding, right? And I think vibe coding it's great. To be honest, I think, like, it's also part of the hype, right? When Andre Karpathy, defined this specific topic, I think he was trying to say something different. I think he was not saying, like, hey, everyone is going to be a developer right now, right? He was trying to say the way that we are writing code right now is going to change over time. But this is what I'm trying to say with vibe coding. I mean, like, vibe coding, we need to understand that what many people is talking about vibe coding is just about, prototyping, right? So of course you can use Lovable, you can use these different, AI tools or IDs like Cursor, Figma, whatever, to create really good prototypes. But this is one thing, and the other thing is how to make a product or a solution that is going to be efficient, is going to be reliable, is going to be scalable. At the same time that you are need to do any change in the code, this is something that is not going to be broken, right? So that's why I'm saying this is the reality. Like, it's very easy, and this is something of the, what is happening, especially with LLMs, right? It's not only vibe coding, but it's LLMs, it's agentic AI that, building proof of concepts, it became super easy, but it still is challenging, to move the things into production at scale. because you need to check, like many different aspects there, right? So that's why what I was trying to say with vibe coding, like, hey, don't mix the things. One aspect is to build a prototype or to build a proof of concept. A different thing is to build something that like it's going to be reliable, and that's the reality.
So I think one of the things that um, comes to mind when we vibe code, and I try vibe coding a lot, and I know that it can only go to some extent, and when you start building production gate grade applications, it doesn't work that way. Safety, speed, scale, everything comes into consideration, right? I still see an opportunity for organizations to move to a place where they go vibe coding, introduce vibe coding into the
Hmm.
development cycle. How do you think, have you seen these organizations, startups doing it now, and how are they, if they're doing, how are they like bringing these things together, like the vibe coding piece
Yeah.
cycle and the actual building?
Yeah. What I'm seeing right now, and this also based on, like I talk to many founders, right? And what I do see is like, like people with not a lot of, like a technical experience or a lot of, like a developer experience, they're able to build, like applications just in the matter of, like days, if not weeks, right? So, this is something that is happening right now, and many people has built really cool stuff, for example, by using Lovable. So it's something that is happening. But also what I do see on companies is like the gap between, like product managers and developer teams is getting closer and closer. So where it used to happen in the past, that you had this a product manager with a lot of ideas, this is going to be the design, this is the product that I want to build, but they were not like a real connection between the developer team and the product manager. So in terms of like requirements, specifications, they were living in like two different places, right? That's why, like the time to build something, it was taking so long. Right now it's different. Right now you can have a product manager that is able to build a very basic prototype by, like doing this vibe coding. So developer team is going to understand much better, easier, faster those requirements, that idea that, like the product manager wants to build, and they will build it, right? So I think something that it's happening right now a lot on the organization. So they don't want, like just not technical people to write code or eventually to, like put the stuff into production, but they want to accelerate the time to market. And I think, like we had this gap between, like technical and non-technical teams, and like by using AI or doing this kind of, vibe coding, you can close the gap and you can move much faster into production and doing the time to market in a, like a record time. That's why I'm seeing, like companies releasing products like in just, like a record time or every day, and that's amazing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think I've seen this trend as well. Um, I can clearly see how this hybrid approach will work, right? And it's just about, I think in most of these cases, right? Technology is almost always fine. It's the culture and the people and how they bring together the practices is what matters,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest hurdle. All right, next move on to the next one. See, look at the engagement on this post, right? I
Yeah.
mean, this one went super viral. You know how I saw this first time? I did not see it on your profile. So someone was laughing. I was in a meeting, and someone, when the meeting ended, someone was watching their phone and laughing. One of my teammates, and I was like, "What happened?" I said, "Look at this meme." And then, oh, okay, Ed shared this, and that's when I first saw that because I think that was the day you shared it. But then it like totally disrupted LinkedIn.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I remember that day. It was like I remember I sharing this by 3 p.m., something like that, right? And I got a meeting, and I was not able to check my phone. And I checked my phone like 2 hours later or 3 hours later,
Yeah.
and suddenly I saw in my phone like 1,000 notifications, and it was like, hey, what the fuck happened here? It was crazy, and I just said like it just went viral. Many people were sharing it, but even like after 6, 7 months,
Yeah.
still I see many people like sharing it and so on. So But this is what I like. Like, I think this post is like a super simple, but like a highlights one of the biggest problems of like data and AI, and you can see it in a very clever manner. So yeah, I must say, like, I don't say, or I wouldn't say like this is one of my best memes, but it just went viral. I mean, like the same that it could happen with other ones, but I think in this case, like I was able to capture the essence of many different things in just very one simple image, and I really like it as well. I really like it.
I love the rainbow unicorn poop there.
Yeah, I was trying to decide like, hey, what can I do for generative AI? I was like, yeah, I think the rainbow with the unicorn. I think it's going to be like good enough. Yeah.
It's really cool. It's really cool. Okay, and I think one of the reasons it went viral is because it is so relatable. Like everyone understands that. I mean, well, now everyone understands. In the past 3 years, it needed some sort of awareness and education, but
Yeah.
now everyone understands that yes, data is so important. How do you, when you work with companies, startups, how do you see, they dealing with the messy data problem? Because that's the biggest problem in data. Data collection and data quality are the two biggest things, right? Yeah, I'll like to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so something that I've learned so far, right? And this is very typical when I was working on MLOps, trying to help customers to scale ML, right? And I remember most of the customers that they were coming from a very traditional sectors like FSI, insurance, healthcare. For them, data was the key element of their life cycle, right? So, and they have invest huge amount of money on data, not only on the huge amount of money, but in terms of resources, in terms of people, in terms of governance. So as you were saying, like, hey, they needed to have good quality data, clean data to build all these pipelines to make sure that this data is going to be well governed. That's why for them moving from data into AI, it was like very natural, and it was very easy, right? Because they had built all the foundations for data. So using AI is just the next step, right? I mean, like, it's the same like music. If you know how to play the piano, for you it's kind of the same thing to play a guitar or to play any other instrument, right? The same if you are coding. If you know how to write code in one programming language, using different programming languages, it's pretty much the same, because I mean, like, the foundations, they are still there, right? That's why data, it's everything. I mean, like, if you have invest resources on data, moving into AI is going to be so natural. And this is something I'm seeing right now, that companies, they are trying to skip steps, right? And because I was saying it in the first meme, everyone wants to be AI first, they forget about data. Because of course in the past, and this is the big difference, right? In the past, you really had or you really need to have data to build your models, right? Like, hey, I'm going to build a classifier model, I need to have my data, so I train the model and I get results. Right now, because you already have the models there, you can use OpenAI, you can use Claude, you can use Gemini, whatever. It seems like, hey, because you don't need to train a model, you just don't need to have the data. But at the end of the day, this is what is going to happen, right? If you put a garbage in, it's garbage out. I mean, like, if you are using messy data, not updated data, unclean data, you won't have like very good results. Actually, you're going to get the opposite. I mean, like, it's not about not having a good result. It's about you are going to take actions based on something that is wrong. So sometimes it's better to do nothing rather than doing something that is going to affect how you deal with your customers, how you deal with your employees, or whatever. And this is something that is happening most of the time, that people trying to, because they really want to move fast, they skip the data part, and they just don't have the results they were expecting. That's why for me, everything starts by the data part.
Yeah, and I think when I talk to these businesses and especially customers, I see the similar sentiment. They want to move fast. They want to show on return on investment using AI, and then they kind of adopt some shady shady practices on doing the data part, and then just take the shortcut. And I don't see it needs to be like. laying out the right data foundation wouldn't delay your data projects or AI projects, because you work backwards from what you need for AI. So you start to build a AI solution. Just figure out what kind of data you need for that AI use case and just start from there. It can be one slice rather than you spending 1 year or 18 months on laying out the data foundation, right? You just take top down
Correct.
everything together in one small slice. So that way, I think you can move faster. Um, in the startup world, obviously because startups move so fast, do you see in general startups adopting best practices around laying out data foundations, or is it a problem in that space?
I think in general they are adopting pretty well. I mean, like sometimes they have the challenge that they are not managing their own data because they are using data from like end customers and they cannot use it for their own purpose. But I think overall, like startups, digital native customers, because they don't have all this legacy and so on, and like all the business has been built on like on the cloud with this like a good practice in place and so on. For them, they really understand since the very beginning that like data is their biggest asset, and they really like adopt as something natural. So I think the same it happened to like very traditional customers or from traditional sectors like like FSI, insurance, healthcare. I think it's the same for startups and so on. And that's why like they are also moving super fast. And I think there are some like I don't remember who ran this report, but when they were like asking about AI adoption across different markets, different like countries and so on, where it was something common across every single market. It was like startups, they were adopting AI much faster. And I'm talking startups in general, much faster than like enterprises and so on. And that's why they don't have like all these problems in place.
So stepping back a bit on the data adoption or data foundation conversation, why do you think companies turn around when it comes to talking about data strategy, and investment and hiring and cost and all of those things?
Yeah. So I mean like I'm super, I always say the same thing. I'm super bullish on agents. I think agents they have something that it's completely different to LLMs, right? LLMs were not meaningful in the way that like you were forced to write prompts, get results, write prompts, get results, but it was like super manual, right? I think with agents you reach a level of automation that you didn't have with LLMs. And especially because they can get access to tools, they can get access to memory, they can self-reflect, and they can do many different things. That's why agents they are like super meaningful. But there is also a problem that like the same that like I was saying, like company wants to be AI first. Right now, they want to put agents almost everywhere, and they say, yeah, let's put an agent here, and we will automate the process. But I was saying like like using an agent is much more than just like making API calls to an LLM. You need to manage the memory, you need to get access to different tools, you need to define the permissions, you need to have the right skills in place. I mean, like many of these technologies for AI agents, they're like pretty new. I mean, like land graph or land chain has been there only for a couple of 3 years there, right? So people or companies they don't have the skills in place. You also need to do a lot of investment, and this is one of the main blockers for many companies because we are saying like, hey, agents is going to automate most of your processes and you are going to gain a lot of efficiency, so eventually you will save a lot of money. But also to save money you need to invest first, and when the companies see about the cost that it's going to take, it's like, hey, let's keep it how it is. I mean, like it's working more or less, so it's fine or it's good enough, right? That's why I'm saying like many companies like, hey, they want to go directly into AI agents, and they realize about some of the challenges of building agents. I mean, like building an agent in production at a scale, it's hard. It's very hard. You need to manage many different things. You need to manage like like a unique identification for the customer. You need to manage like like some runtimes that are going to take a lot of time. You need to manage which permissions are you giving to that agent to get access to different tools. You need to manage the orchestration across many different agents. I mean, like there are many different things that you need to handle that becomes the thing really complicated. And of course, if you have like 5, 10 agents, it's not so bad. But if you have like 100 agents or 200 agents, that maybe the agent is doing something like it's super simple. Maybe it's just sending an email. But you need to orchestrate this agent with all the other agents around, and that becomes the thing very challenging. That's why many companies they are still struggling by like adopting agents at the scale.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. One of the things I do on my LinkedIn feed is I post about like workflows. Like I do graphics on some use cases and workflows. And one of my intention behind doing this is like showing that, hey, it's not just the agents. There's a lot of things around it that come together. And these are like simplified graphics. If you go to like enterprise level workflows, there'll be so much complexities. And there's with every arrow connecting different boxes, there are failure points, right? So, and
Correct,
how do you
correct.
set up failure monitoring and then recovery, and not about, it's not about just developing the workflow, but it has to run every day in an ongoing basis, right? So how do you manage all of these things? It's really tough. I mean, AI agent seems like magic, but it's not really magic, right? It's a system engineering is another technology.
Correct, correct.
Use it the way you use with any other workflow in your business. All right, let's look at the next one. This is our final one.
Agents, they are helping me a lot to create like good stuff. Well, I mean, like sometimes, like and this is to be like fully honest, right? Sometimes I'm exaggerating just a little bit, right? Just to make it, like even, like a more, like aesthetic and so on. But
Team
I
after all.
know this is something that like it's happening with agents as well. I think there is a lot of expectation around agents, and I can understand. As I said before, I'm super bullish on agent, but there is also a lot of hype, right? And I see people talking about, hey, agents everywhere. We'll have teams of thousands of agents doing stuff, and I think it's something that eventually will happen in near future. But today, still, the situation is quite different. I mean, like if I look to most of the customers I talk to about what they are doing with agents, they are just mainly very like basic workflows. Like, hey, based on business rules, if this happens, do this. If this happens, do that. Yeah, behind the scenes, you can use an LLM to execute the actions, but essentially the LLMs they are just like taking very or the agents they are taking very simple actions, and you are like embedding these agents as part of a defined workflow based on business rules, right? If we identify agents as like completely autonomous systems, we are very far from there. That's why in this post, what is what I was trying to say, like, hey, how people is using agents or agentic AI to brag on LinkedIn, to do the stuff, and it was like, hey, how many of them they are really generating value with agents? Just very few of them, because that's the reality. I mean, like, I think we're still far from there. I think maybe this is going to happen within the next couple of years, and we'll see like an explosion of agents, but still we are far from them.
Makes sense. You see, I read a lot of reports around VC funding and investors investing on AI startups. I mean, it's all over the feed, and you come across these news every day. I mean, Lovable got investment yesterday as well, right? Um, what do you think the small number of companies who are raising huge amount of money are doing right with AI agents that others are not?
Like the problem right now with VCs and so on, right? And we can see examples like, I don't know, SSI or, like Thinking Machines, with Murati. I mean, like there is a huge expectation in terms of AI. And VCs have a problem. I mean, like if they are not there since the very beginning, they are not going to be there anymore. That's why they are raising this huge amount of money, and any VC is going to be there because they don't want to lose the train. So it's like it's not like they want to invest, but they are like forced to invest on those companies. And of course, because at the end of the day, we are talking about, like what all these companies need to succeed. It's just compute, right? And I think it's something that it's grown. I mean, like when we are talking about what is going to take us to AGI, I don't think LLMs they are going to take us to AGI, and still a lot of research needs to happen and different approach needs to happen to reach this higher level of intelligence. But this is pretty much what everyone is doing, right? And right now, where is going the cost? Mainly on talent. That's why like a Meta pay like like huge amount of money just trying to steal like researchers from different places like OpenAI, DeepMind, and so on. And the other thing is compute. That's why they need to raise this huge amount of money, because if you need to build these gigafactories, you need to have like a hundred of millions of dollars. Otherwise, you're not going to play in this space.
Let's say founders working on a startup today, how should they set themselves off up to raise funds from investors? What are two or three best practices that you would advise them in the AI startup space?
Yeah. So even sometimes what I say that not all the times it's a good idea to raise a lot of funds, because you are like very dependent on VCs, and sometimes that's not the right strategy. I've met founders like like crowdfunding their startup super successfully, and they have achieved like amazing results. I think at the end of the day, like you need to give confidence that, I mean, like it's not about ideas. And I was saying something similar yesterday. It's not about ideas. It's about products. Making sure that you're building products that are going to be loved by the community. It's about building the best team, the best possible team to deliver. And it's about the speed. And I think in this space, speed matters a lot. I mean, like you need to build super fast, and you need to deliver even faster, right? So even sometimes you won't have the perfect product to be delivered, but I mean, like nobody's going to think about who arrived second to the finish line. It's going to think about who arrived first. That's why you need to be like like a super careful about how to do this and how to run super fast, how to deliver faster. And at the end of the day, also it's sales, right? I mean, like when you are trying to pitch your company to a VC, you need to do selling, right? And sometimes companies or startups, they are like super focused on all the technical aspects, that they forget the most important thing, that is about how to sell your product. And to sell your product, sometimes you don't need engineers. You need to have people who really knows how to sell it, and that's something that you also need to invest.
That's really good advice. I see this a lot. It's a very common thing, especially in the engineering space. Like
Yeah.
founders come from technical background, which it works out well in some AI companies. But then at some point, when you go out selling, they need to find the right person to sell the products as well. Nice, really good answers. Thank you very much, Eduardo. Now we are going to get into the really super fun part of the podcast. It's a rapid fire. I've got 6 questions for you. Let's because it's rapid fire, just to try to be short and crisp.
Okay.
Let's go. Are you ready?
Ready.
Nice. What is your go-to AI tool for getting work done during the day?
Perplexity.
Nice. I love it too. What is the most fun way you have used AI in your personal life?
When I take my kids for the baptist, I use ChatGPT to create my speech that I was going to give.
Nice. Nice. What's one resource, book, course, creator that you always recommend people who are starting their AI journey?
Me.
That's cool. That's cool. What's one AI trend that makes you roll your eyes every time you hear it?
uh, Super intelligence, super intelligence. I really want to see it one day in my life.
Oh, one day it will happen. We're all waiting for it. If you could go back and tell yourself one thing before starting your AI career, what would it be?
Invest on Nvidia.
Nice. Yeah, I should have done that as well. I think everyone says that.
Yeah.
You have seen AI evolve from big data to LLMs to agents now. What's the next big shift that most people aren't talking about?
I think it's going to be like like AI on our real space. Everything that's related to physical AI, taking access on the real world, spatial AI. I mean, like the world of humanoids doing stuff for us. I think is going to be the next big shift.
Oh man, yeah, I need AI to wash my dishes. That's
Yeah,
what
me
I need
too. Me
AI
too.
for.
Me too.
All right, Ed, it was super fun. Thank you very much for giving your time.
Pleasure.
Cool, message from you. Thank you very much for doing this.
Pleasure, Sandeep, and take care, man. Let's be in touch.